Hello and welcome everybody back to the Jank Drawer. My name is Sam, this is the Jank Drawer, and today we're coming back again with another visit here on our new account challenge account, where we are going to be playing the Midweek Magic Phantom Golden Sealed. Once again, we bring these so that you can be able to have a midweek check-in on what everything we are doing here behind the scenes, as we're trying to build an account out from brand new to competitively viable as fast as we possibly can. And as part of that, the main thing that we're working towards really is acquisition of cards. And we're trying to get the best cards that we can get in the right situations and the right packages so we can build real decks and we can try to make sure that we are competitively viable, not necessarily just in the set we are currently playing, but also in future sets so that this can be a long-term fulfilling prophecy and something that we can do at the channel forever. As part of that, a very important thing to do when you're on a budget, like we are, of not having a lot of cards, not having a lot of wild cards, is you need to maximize all of the opportunities you have at free cards and free rewards. And so we are going to be playing Midweek Magic Phantom Golden Sealed. As you would have known from the last 2 weeks where we've been playing the Midweek Magic Metagames, in playing these, you get guaranteed 2 rares and 1 cosmetic. We don't really care about the cosmetic as much as we care about the rares. But we do this so that we can just get the free rewards out of the way. And for this, we are playing Phantom Golden Sealed, which Phantom means that the cards we open in this limited environment we don't get to keep. But we will get to have 12 booster packs, and then we get to add basic lands, and we can play as many times as we would like. I don't know what's in these, so this is going to be a blind experience for me and for you. But I hope that I can teach you some heuristics about how to draft and what you should be looking for when you're playing limited, and we can get these 3 wins as quickly as possible. With that said, let's hop right on it. Okay, so it's going to be sealed. So this is our rares we've opened from 12 packs. We have Ader and Priwin ×2. So this is great in that it's a mythic rare that is also colorless, so this can go in any deck. We've got Selvala, we've got an Overlord of the Belmurk, we have Call of the Spirit Dragons, which is a 5-color enchantment. We have 2 Clives. We have Traveling Chocobos, Overlords of the Hauntwoods, Craterhoof Behemoth. We have Summon Knights of the Round. Right now, most of the things we have are in green and white. All Out Assault, Gearhead Mirror of the Wilds, Buster Sword, Harvester of Misery, Wandering Rescuer, Salvation Engine, Kefka, Riptide Gearhulk, Realm Scorcher Hellkite, Huatli Poet of Unity, the Speed Demon, Parination. We have 2 starting towns, which is honestly huge. It allows us to play multicolored. Zorlin Cosmos Caller, Maria Vendrell, Hope Estime, Memories Returning, 2 Hopes, an Expel the Interlopers, which is a good Wrath, Kellen, Jekt, Reluctant Guardian, Homicide Investigator, Minwu the White Mage, Flamewake Phoenix, Summon Brynhilder, Loot, Sugarma, Tai Joaquin Perfect Shot, Xenos Yegalvus, Head Shredder, Esper Origins. Here's another multicolor land. Here's another multicolor land. Murgonda Raceway, which is a good land. Razorkin Needlehead. Just more lands. Another way to destroy all creatures. Another land. Cecil. Doomsday Excruciator. So I think really the only thing we aren't playing is this Doomsday Excruciator for sure. But when I'm playing Sealed, my general approach to how we should play Sealed is entirely based off of... Sorry, let me move that out of the way. My approach to how we should play Sealed is entirely based off of what the rares are that you have and how you are going to play them. Now, the interesting thing about this format is that every card we opened is a rare or a mythic rare, and those are the only cards we have to work with. So we're going to try and figure that out mainly by just identifying how many of each color we have. So in our mono white rares, we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. Okay. In our mono blue, We have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So blue is our shallowest color so far. Mono black, we've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. So same amount of white as we have black. Red, we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Green, we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13. So green is definitely our most populous color. So we should be base green. So that means we want to be playing this. And then let's do our color list. So blue, white, we have 3. Well, 4, since we have 2 copies of Hope. And then we have a Kaikar, and we have Riptide Gearhulk. Black, white, we only have Zoraline. Red, white, we have Bivouac and Taiwakeen Perfect Shot. Green, white, we have Phineas, Ace Archer, Sarah Ferrant, who's really actually pretty good for us because we are playing mostly rares and mythics. And so this is just a lord for all of our legendary creatures, because most of our creatures are going to be legendary. Selvala, so that gets us to 3. Blue-green, we only have lands. Grixis, we only have Kefka. Naya, we only have Geared. We have exactly 1 Mardu, which is all-out Assault. Perination in Abzan. New Way Forward in Jeskai. Sin Spira's Punishment in Sultai. And then we have 2 5-colors. Marina Vendrell, which only looks for enchantments. And then Call of the Spirit Dragons, which only cares about dragons, of which we don't really have that many. I think we have exactly 1. So I think we are going to do base green. The other thing that we're going to really do is we really want to play both of these starting towns. Just because that is we're going to be a multicolor deck. And then we're just going to add in all of our green cards. Is our first step. So, looking at our green cards now, this just already gets us to 29 out of 40. So Esper Origins is really good in the backside. So Surveil 2, gain 2 life, not necessarily good, but if you flash it back for 4, you get Esper Medwin, who gets you a card off the top of your deck. It adds 2 mana, and then it gives all of your creatures +2/+2 and trample until end of turn, which is pretty good. Huatli searches for a basic land of any color, and then if we play 3 red, white, we can exile Huatli and return to the battlefield transformed. And then she makes 2 3/3 green dinosaurs. Then all creatures can tap for any of the Naya colors. Then we search for a dinosaur, reveal it, and put it into our hand. And then dinosaurs we control gain double strike and trample until end of turn. Do we have any other dinosaurs in our pool? Currently, I think the answer is most likely no. If we search for dinosaur. Yeah. So Huatli's never really going to find us a dinosaur. The only dinosaurs we're going to have are the 2 that it makes us. But we know we're going to want to do some things that are also not just green. And because of the sheer number of legendary creatures that we're going to have, so like already we're up to 1, 2, 3 of them. Sarah Farron should probably come in, since it just lets us cast our Huatli for 1, lets us cast our Oya Kazim for 3. We should also put in some of these other ones. So we can put in Kellen, we can put in Phineas, and we can put in Selvala. Kellen is a 2-mana 2/3, but we can also Journey On, where we make map tokens, which help us find more lands. And then Phineas is just a 2-mana 2/2 Vigilance Reach. Whenever it attacks, put a +1/+1 counter on each other creature you control that's a token or a rabbit. Then if creatures you control have a total power of 10 or greater, draw a card. We don't have a ton of things that are going to make us rabbits, but we do have a lot of things that will make us tokens. Huatli makes us tokens. Sylvan Scavenging makes us token. Selvala makes us tokens. So we're going to have a lot of tokens, and that Phineas is going to make bigger. Cosmic and Confluence, not actually that good, so we'll take that out immediately. Since it's either going to search for a cave, we don't have any caves. It's going to put 3 counters on a cave and make it an elemental creature with haste. We don't have any caves. Or it's going to destroy target enchantment, and that's just not a good enough reason to pay a 5 mana card. Is 5 mana destroy target enchantment. Now, the interesting thing we're coming to here is we should probably try to be somewhat concise. So we know we're going to be base green, but we have some other green cards here that we can play, such as Girad Mirror of the Wilds, which if we're doing token things, this is a pretty good card to have when you're doing token things, because it makes it so all of your non-token creatures can tap to make more of your token creatures. It also puts us into Naya. Huatli already puts us into Naya. Summon Titan gets us all of our lands from our graveyard. Head Shredder puts lands into our graveyard, and then into play. So we can probably pretty easily splash this. Parination, we're now going into a 4th color, but it's return a permanent from our graveyard to the battlefield with a hexproof counter and an indestructible counter on it. And we're going to be milling ourselves a lot with Summon Titan and with Head Shredder. So I don't hate this. And then Sin, Spirit's Punishment. Whenever Sin enters or attacks, exile a permanent card from your graveyard at random, then create a tapped token that's copy that card. If the exiled card is a land, repeat this process. I also don't hate that. So that gets us to 35. Just playing all of our base green things. Since we've now splashed for blue, we can also put in our green-blue lands. And now we should look at what are the other things we can splash from these colors. So, like, when we're looking for splashes, we basically don't want anything more than 1 color pip outside of green. So, like, Aerith can come in. Aerith is 2 and a white for a 2/2 with lifelink. Whenever you gain life, put a counter on Aerith, and when Aerith dies, put X +1/+1 counters on each legendary creature you control, where X is the number of counters on Aerith. That's pretty huge, because we have a lot of legendary creatures that we can now put counters on. Wind Crystal, though, we wouldn't want to do. It has the wonderful cost reduction of white spells cost 1 less to cast, and if you gain life, gain twice that much life. And then you can pay 6 mana, and creatures you control gain flying and lifelink until end of turn. But double white is a lot harder to hit than single white. And we're trying to really much just keep it to only trying to hit single white off of any of our splashes. Minwu, similarly, would be great, but much like Expel the Interlopers or Starfall Invocation, you're not going to really get there. Salvation Engine we could play. Other artifact creatures you control get +2/+2, and when it attacks, return up to 1 target artifact from your graveyard to the battlefield, but we aren't playing any artifacts. And also, I don't know what artifacts we got. We should probably look at those. I don't actually hate any of these artifacts. If we play all of them, we end up in this, but let's get us to 40, but let's look at more of our splash cards first. Once again, black, I don't think we're going to be splashing too aggressively. Red, probably not. Blue, white, probably no. We can splash the Restless Bivouac and the Tai Joaquin. We don't have anything that deals non-combat damage, though. And then I think what we'll do is we'll just play these artifacts. So Tarian Soulcleaver, 1 mana legendary artifact equipment. Equipped creature has vigilance. Whenever another artifact or creature is put into a graveyard from battlefield, put a counter on equipped creature. Buster Sword, equipped creature gets +3/+2. Whenever equipped creature deals combat damage to a player, draw a card, then cast a spell from your hand with mana value less than or equal to that damage without paying its mana cost. And then Aether and Prewin, 6 mana, equip 5. Equipped creature has base power and toughness XX, where X is your life total. And then we'll also throw in this Muruganda Raceway. It is just a land that if we can deal damage to our opponent 4 times during our turn, taps for 2 mana, and that's just kind of always good. because it also just still taps for mana even when we don't do that. So this is, I think, going to be our sealed deck. Once again, we are base green. We have a general theme around trying to create creature tokens, and then the secondary theme is just playing legendary creatures. We are trying to do so in such a way that we can try and get maximum value out of our Sylvan Scavenging, out of our Serapharin, and just a lot of fun opportunities, essentially, here to make the most out of it. A lot of this splashing is going to be enabled over the fact that we get to have Overlord of the Hauntwoods, which helps us make perfect mana. And we're going to try and get our 3 wins with this. So let's try and find our first win. Okay, here comes our first win. Our first game, at least. I'm trying to manifest the win. Oh, this is interesting. So we have our Xanarkand here, which only enters tapped, but we have the opportunity to go either Kellen or Soul Cleaver into Phineas, and I think that that's pretty good. Off of the lands that we've got here. So I think we're going to do that. We're going to play our only 1-drop in our deck. And then I think we're actually going to play Kellen. Because Kellen has a wonderful ability of whenever Kellen attacks, we reveal the top card of our library, and if it's a creature card with mana value 3 or less, we can put it into our hand. Otherwise, we put it into our graveyard. And now I'm going to play Huatli. And we're going to go search for this mountain. And then we'll activate our Kellen. Esper Origins, we're going to just put that into our graveyard immediately, because we really don't actually care about the front side of that card. We really only care about the back side of that card. Enduring Vitality, that's a great rare to get in this format specifically, because this format cares about having access to kind of infinite colors of mana, and that's kind of one of the only ways to get infinite colors of mana. Let's play our Esper Origins. Kind of like both of those cards. And then this is a 3/3, so I don't actually want to attack into it anymore. Now they have Dion, Bahamut's Dominant. Let's play this land. And now we have 6 mana, so we have to figure out how we want to spend it best. And I think we want to do... we have to do... The only way to do 2 cards is we have to do Hedge Shredder, Phineas. And if they want to give me multiple creatures for this Esper Medwin, they can. We actually kind of don't... I think we do want to... So the Vitality is really annoying because the Enduring cards of any variety just get to come back. Okay, so they are going to flip their Dion into Bahamut. Okay, we will play this Xanarkand Ancient Metropolis. It's our land for turn. We can flip our Huatli if we really wanted to. And I think we will. Yeah, I think we'll flip our Huatli. And then we will tap our dinosaur to make our head shredder a real creature. We got 0 lands, unfortunately. But we did draw our swamp, so we can cast this Parination next turn. Which will be kind of huge. What is our Parination target? Is it just this Summon Titan? It might just be the Phineas. I actually think the Phineas is not a bad target for our Parination. Because it gives it hexproof and indestructible, and then we can just keep attacking with our Phineas to keep giving ourselves counters on our tokens. Because right now we're just basically trying to race our opponent. Kuja is annoying. Kuja's pretty good. Luckily they only have 1 wizard as of right now. Okay, our opponent's just passing. There they get to make their first wizard. My turn. We'll play this. Let's play Selvala. Let's play Parination. Bring back... Phineas. Tap our Selvala. Attack with our Head Shredder, because if they want to give us any of our things, we'll take it. We once again milled 0 lands, which is unfortunate. But we have our opponent down to 8. So they're going to destroy any target permanent of ours. Which, once again, we don't love, but we are okay with. We accept this. Selvala is a pretty good one. And now their Dion is back as a 3/3. Are they going to just flip him again to make Bahamut? We also don't care about all these flyers now because we have this Phineas that is indestructible. Emmett Selch. How many cards are in our opponent's graveyard? Currently exactly 1, and it's this Malcolm that they just discarded. Now their Kuja has flipped, which is less than ideal. I have no dinosaurs. I know I'm as disappointed as you are, but we are out of dinosaurs. Let's tap you. Let's play our Geared. See if we can get lands this time. We got a land. And then we drew a land. So our opponent's fine just taking 2 here. And letting us get our Phineas even bigger. So, our opponent has the ability to be pretty scary, but I don't know that we really care. This Phineas is pretty big for us. Because we could just kind of block anything. And they can't do anything about it. Our opponent has had perfect mana literally since turn 3 of this game, though, which is very hard to come back from because of this Enduring Vitality. Okay, so the fact that they're able to start doing that with their Kuja is gross. Are they going to sack their Machinist Arsenal? No, they're just going to discard a Teamer Battlecry. Oh, our opponent's just done. Okay. We get the last chapter of our thing that gives all of our dinosaurs double strike and trample, and our opponent has decided that they have had enough. Especially since we could make one of them just absolutely massive. So, we'll take it. That's our first win. That brings us to our first reward. Let's see what we can get. Every one of these rewards matters. We got a rare, and it is Pugnacious Hammerskull, a 3-mana 6/6 from Lost Caverns of Ixalan. When this creature attacks while you don't control another dinosaur, put a stun counter on it. This is a very undercosted, very large creature, and its downside is that you just have to be playing other dinosaurs. And there are plenty of cheap dinosaurs that you can play. This is not really that much of a downside. Cool. Let's hop back in. Let's try and win the next one. We found it immediately. We're going to be on the play this time. Prototype 15, the Fervent. I like this hand. I don't like that we have multiple tap lands and nothing to do with them, but this does play our Huatli on 3, and it can play our Titan on 5. Let's play this Vinestock. If we don't draw something to play next turn, we'll play this as well. Serapharin is nice, so we're going to actually play that next turn. Especially now that they have played a Doorkeeper Thrall, so our Huatli doesn't actually do anything anymore. Neither will our Summon Titan. Luckily, though, our Huatli is essentially free. And then we have our 5th land, so we're going to be able to cast this Summon Titan next turn. Let's play the Raceway, and then Summon Titan. And I will attack with Huatli. We might just hardcast this swamp. It's a Craterhoof Behemoth, I mean. But next turn, we are for sure casting this Parination and grabbing back this Sin. Just, hey, we have a Sin Spear as punishment. And all of our creatures are giant. So, next turn, I think we can cast this Craterhoof Behemoth. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. So yeah, we're just going to do that. We will give you that. And then I would like this Craterhoof Behemoth. Good game. And to attack for 1 billion. And then we get to have our Summon Titan back again. Thank you, opponent. So that's how fast this can go in this format. We played against an opponent that was playing a very fair, low-to-the-ground, red-white deck, just like our last opponent that beat us, but we just went simply too big this time. And that can happen. But it brings us to our next reward. All of these rewards matter because every single one of them is a card that we don't have to pay money for, and this is huge! We got a brand new mythic. It is Sword of Wealth and Power. So one of the worst swords that has ever been made. The swords are a cycle. They are all 3 mana. They all equip for 2, and they all give you protection from 2 things. Sword of Wealth and Power is from the big score. Equipped creature gets +2/+2, and they give you protection from instants and sorceries. Whenever equipped creature deals combat damage to a player, create a treasure token, and when you next cast an instant or sorcery spell this turn, copy that spell. You may choose new targets for the copy. So, plus side, this goes in every single deck. Like, it is a colorless card that can go into every single deck that we ever build. Downside is, no deck ever plays this, because it's not an effect that you want or one that you need. So, but it's really cool nonetheless. Now let's try and get our last win so that we can try and get the real easy 3-1 here. Okay, we are on the play this time. This, so far, has been a play-draw format, in that whenever we're on the play, we win. Whenever we're on the draw, we lose. We will keep this. Getting one of our 2 starting towns to start off is really good for us. These are the best lands in our deck. And we don't have a Tarian Soul Cleaver this time, so we just can play our Journey On to make our Kellen find a map token. This turn, we can play a mountain. We're going to Esper Origins first. There's a land on top. And we want that land. And then we can map to draw that land. And then we'll decline that. Play the land that our opponent knows about. Don't really want that Selvala, maybe? Since we'd really just get land... Like, if we could get land number 5... Okay, so I know I just asked for land number 5, and that is what you gave me. It is a land that enters tapped, which is less than ideal. So we'll just Esper Origins again. And right now we're kind of... Oh, these are great. We're fine with land. Because we're going to play this Hedge Shredder. We're going to put this island into the graveyard. We can also just play this Summon Titan next turn. And when we Summon Titan, we're eventually going to get all of these lands back anyways. Okay, so let's play this Plains. So we have 8 mana. If we Craterhoof, is it just lethal? Craterhoof would give us +9 damage. 14, 18, 20. Does our opponent have an answer to a resolved Craterhoof Behemoth? Do you have... No! Cool! So our opponent's just going to lose to a really early resolved Craterhoof. And that's our win number 3. And that brings us to our final reward of the day, chat. We also completed one of our dailies, so we get a whole bunch of gold. And this gets us to our final reward, Mystery Reward Cosmetic. And that is going to be a Jackdaw Savior. 3 mana, 3/1 bird cleric with flying. Whenever this creature or another creature you control with flying dies, return another target creature card with lesser mana value from your graveyard to the battlefield. Once again, this is not a card that we own, so we don't get to add this to our collection. But if we ever open a Jackdaw Savior in the future, we can now put a very cool card art on it. But that's it for me today. I hope you all had a great time, and I hope you all learned something here. Once again, this is Phantom Golden Sealed, so it is a sealed pool that we only get rares and mythics in. And I think this is a really interesting format and a really good format for teaching you the basics of how to build your decks. Generally in sealed, the most important thing is how many of your rares and mythics can you fit into one pile, and then how greedy can you get and how much of them can you play. And so when you're playing a format where all you have are rares and mythics, it makes you have to focus on building the best deck out of the rares and mythics that you got. And I think that we did a very good job of doing that. We played around a lot of the facts that we had some colorless cards that we could be able to play. We have a suggestion as to what our deck that it suggests we should have played was. And I think we're not too far off. They very much believed that we shouldn't have ever gotten out of green-white. And I think that there is a very solid just green-white deck that we could have played in this pool. But this was, I think, pretty good. We got to see Parination bringing back Phineas being way better than we thought it would. Summon Titan was very good. Sin Spirit's Punishment, the one time we got it, was great. All in all, I had a great time, and it taught us to identify what our most important cards in any matchup were, bring them in, and make sure that we were playing around them. And I think we did a very good job of doing that. We identified very early on that our most prolific color was green, specifically because it had our best finishers in Craterhoof Behemoth, and then it had just a very concise plan around getting lands into play and lands of many colors. And if you're playing a lands-based strategy, you can be a little bit more aggressive about your splashes. And then we stuck to the hard and fast rule of when you're looking for splashes, what are the splashes you're looking for? You're looking for cards that you don't ever need more than one color outside of your base 2 colors. That's why we're running our Parinations, our Sins, our Geareds, and only those splashes, because Sin is a little bit more of a flex. It's also our top end. It's a 7-drop. But when we're base green-white, Pyronation, we only need to find our 1 swamp. Geared, we only need to find 1 mountain. And Huatli goes a long way in being able to find the cards that we need to be able to do that. And then filling out the rest of our curve with colorless artifacts that just are generally pretty good went a very long way. But I hope that you've had a fun time, that you've learned something in this draft video. Once again, I have been Sam. This has been the Jank Drawer. Thank you all so much for coming in and watching these. It means a lot. All of the support really adds up, and I'm hoping to continue growing to this. As many of you don't know, because I haven't talked about this as much in the YouTube videos as I have on stream, which, by the way, I'm live every day from 2 to 6 p.m. Mountain Standard Time, except for Fridays, where we go a little bit later into 8 p.m., where we play a whole variety of games. Magic the Gathering is usually our Monday game, but we play a lot of really fun and interesting games on the stream. Right now, this is my only income. That's changing very soon. I did just get a brand new job that is part-time that's going to help cover that. But right now, we're trying to chase the dream and make it so that our dreams are no longer dreams. And as part of that, all the support that you guys give me here on YouTube and on Twitch and on all of the various places you can find me goes a very long way. So if you could just like and subscribe so you make sure that you don't miss any of these future updates. I'm going to try and put out roughly 2 videos a week. And the next video this week is probably going to be one more explaining more about the Jank Drawer and what it is and what we're trying to do here. It really means a whole lot, and I am very grateful for the opportunity that is given to me to be able to bring this wonderful content to all of you. Until then, and until next time, take care of yourselves and have a wonderful day. And enjoy your stay here inside the Jank Drawer.